It's Dew Time with Pastor Steph.
Good morning, good morning. Rise and shine. You're on with this Dew Time with Pastor Steph. How are you this morning? That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. For this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So, where were you yesterday? Yesterday was Wow Wednesday. And we started off with our girlfriend Vivian and her socially conscious segment. And we talked about sanitation here in New York City. They are now adopting the see something, say something. Yep, them too. Well, in regards to the illegal dumping, they are stepping their game up because they can't seem to get a handle on this thing, evidently. They are calling on all New York City residents. Yes, if you see something, say something. If you find someone is illegally dumping, make sure you get to the sanitation department, 311, 911. I don't know who you're supposed to call, but they want to know about it. So if they do get a hint and they are able to fine and get the fine paid, you will get 50% of that fine. Yep. And from what we found out yesterday from our Dew Time world is there are people who are out here already doing this thing when it comes to idling trucks. Yeah, there is a person, or there are people out there who follow trucks around or who drive around and see if there are idling trucks, because you know there's a fine behind that one as well. And if you find someone idling, you call it in, they've been getting paid for it. I'm like, man, oh man, oh man. People are doing whatever it is that they can to get the job done and get $1 in their pocket. So clearly it works. So if you see someone dumping, feel free to call. Well, the USPS, the United States Postal Service, is going up on their fees, but not the stamps. They're going up on their delivery fees, so ground and air and things like that. It will take a 7.8% increase. Now, I don't know what that is, but I do know when we go to ship stuff out at the post office, it can be quite expensive. So all of that area is going up, and you can probably figure that UPS and FedEx, DHL, whoever else, they're gonna increase their fees as well. Yeah. So just get ready. If you have to ship something out, you really ain't got no choice. You're gonna have to deal with it, right? Well, the SNAP benefits, well, the recipients, they're going to have to go through, possibly, not everybody, but there will be some. And I don't know how they're going to wean these people out, but there are going to be some people who are going to have to reapply, even if they have just started getting SNAP benefits. Why? Because of all of the fraud and the misuse, and the fact that there are deceased people still getting funds. So let's re-say that, because we know they sure ain't using them funds in the grave. So we got people who are using the names of people who are already deceased. Yep, there you go, to receive these funds. And they are now backtracking and asking people to reapply. they're going to have to recertify that they can get these funds. I guess they're going to have to prove some way that they still alive. Well, my thing is, listen, you have social security numbers, and I'm telling you, when you file for a death certificate, you have to give a social security number. Yes, the social security number is on that death certificate. So my thing is, listen, why don't you get those names submitted from all of the funeral directors or whoever, Department of Health, because Department of Health is the one who submits the death certificate. So just get them to submit the social security numbers, and there you have it. If the people are dead, when that comes up in your system, you don't issue it, and you can now start locking up people. Go past this recertifying, but I don't know. Maybe I'm already talking about something that they're already getting ready to do or have started. Stop underestimating this system, because now that we had a freeze on the system for 5 minutes, you better believe there's going to be a whole lot of things coming down the pipeline for not just SNAP benefit recipients, but a whole lot of other things as well. So if you get those SNAP benefits, I am mad at you. Get what you deserve or you are entitled to. But don't be surprised if your name comes up on that recertification list. Okay? Well, our wow story of the morning. A 20-year-old man is linked to an extremist group. Yep, he said, I'm going to play Santa Claus. I'm going to hand out poison-ridden candy canes to all of the minority children. Yep, that was his target, and that's the way he was going to do it. Unfortunately, he wanted to seek out some help, but the help came in the form of an undercover cop. Why are we still going through this kind of stuff? Yes. And they found out that he was still recruiting others and was planning on doing many other things as well as destroying the evidence. So thank God that the undercover cop was there in place to take that, spot and take that to the authorities. So wow, Wednesday it was. Well, it became a wow Wednesday when we talked about the woman who went on her first date with the man that she had been online dating with. Well, let me see if I can pull up some of the content and the statements that he made to refresh your memory or to introduce the stuff that he said. Well, while they were out on their first date, he said, you're a little larger than I'd prefer. Now, I didn't mean anything by it. I think you're pretty. Ooh, okay, so that was the first hit. The next hit, when she said that she wanted to see her items. She was an artist. She wanted to see her items in this prestigious art galleries. That was not met with the greatest enthusiasm. He asks her, don't you think it's wiser to focus on a more practical line of work? Those people who are in the art world really don't go far until after they die. Woo! Well, the nail that got driven and the horse that, how do they say it? The straw that broke the camel's back for her was when she told him that she wouldn't mind being married. She would like to get married, but she wasn't really interested in having kids. And he said, I don't know if I don't know about dealing with women who don't want to have kids. I think it's a red flag when a woman doesn't like kids. Well, this chat room was blowing up from this conversation as to what she should do, as to how they messed this up, as to what she should expect. What do you want from online dating? Oh my, oh my, oh my. Woo! Where were you yesterday? I hope you were on. But if you were not on, go back right here. Whether you're on YouTube or whether you're on Facebook, and go back and watch. Because, baby, the conversation was kind of crazy. Yes, yes, the ladies held it down yesterday as always. And we give them a big old hearty thanks for just bringing it. And the men in the chat room were no slouch either. Yeah, they had it going. They had it going. So we had a lot of fun yesterday, as well as being, advised and warned. And we got a nice little word from God. So go back. Listen and watch. It's due time from yesterday. All right? That's how we spent our yesterday. Today is Therapeutic Thursday. Yep, today we talk about our health in any shape, form, or fashion, whether it's mental health, physical health, emotional health, spiritual health, financial health, whatever we gonna do. Because the Due Time crew is the only set that will discuss your health in any shape, form, or fashion. So come on, let's get this party started. I'm anxious and raring to go because, boy, oh boy, we got some stuff to talk about today. And your health is definitely one of the things we're going to talk about. Go ahead and get that healthy breakfast. Go ahead and tell somebody, anybody, everybody that it's Due Time with Pastor Steph is on. And whatever you do, don't go anywhere because we will be right back.
You're having an asthma attack in the 60s, and a bystander rushes towards you and calls 911. And instead of trained medics, a hearse pulls up. Before 1967, that was the reality in many cities. In the 60s, emergency medical services were unorganized, non-existent, or inconsistent. And that meant if you're black, poor, or in a crisis, you might not make it to the hospital alive. It was often just a matter of luck. In 1967, a doctor named Peter Safar teamed up with a group of black men in Pittsburgh's Hill District to do what no one else had: create paramedics. They weren't just driving people to the hospital, they were treating patients on the way using CPR, defibrillators, and advanced trauma care, just like EMTs today. The Freedom House paramedics were better trained than most doctors in emergency response. They saved many lives and defined what we understand to be our emergency medical system today. But in 1975, the city shut them down, replacing them with an all-white paramedic corps and erasing their contributions. Most were not even hired into the new EMS system. Freedom House paved the way for every ambulance, every EMT, every 911.
Good morning, and good morning again. Welcome back to It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. And it is Therapeutic Thursday, the day we talk about our health. And listen, today, we got some stuff to talk about that it definitely has something to do with our health in a whole different way than you can even imagine. All right. So before we get this party started, let's say good morning to our Due Time world. Terrence, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Excuse me. My camera. Good morning. Thank you. Happy to have you with us. We got a check-in from our girl, Kenny. Good morning, Kenny. Thank you so much for joining us. We got a check-in from Miss Brenda. Hey there, Brenda. How are you? Thank you so much for joining us. We got a check-in from Kryptonite. Now, I don't know who you are, but thank you so much for joining us. Come on here and join this party. All righty. We got a check-in from our girl, Kyra. Good morning, Kyra. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I hope you're feeling better. Hope you're feeling better. We got to check in from Miss Grace. Good morning, Miss Grace. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you're in your nice warm bed this morning and you're doing well. Oh, we got to make sure we say good morning to the ladies that hold it down each and every day. If it weren't for them, there would be no us. Let's say good morning to Shantice. Good morning, Shantice. And if there were no techie hiding up in the back, we got our girl Anika. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us this morning and helping us bring video world to the world. All right. Oh, well, you know what we do each and every Thursday morning. We get that switch tip when it comes to your health. All right. How can we get, us on a better regimen for eating and drinking and taking care of ourselves? Well, this morning I'm a little nervous, I got to tell you, because I found something. And that's my morning regimen with you all. But they've got some doctors that are telling us about some issues with drinking tea. Yeah, they're warning us who drink tea. Now, I don't know. I don't drink anything else. I really don't drink soda. I really don't drink juice. I really don't drink I don't drink coffee. So I don't know. Well, there's a Harvard trained doctor who is a gastroenterologist, and that's the doctor that kind of deals with all of your inside your stomach and all that area. And he says that there are some health issues that he's concerned about for those of us who drink tea. So let's see what, let's dive in here and let's see. He says, I'm a board certified gastroenterologist, and here are the 7 worst tea habits wrecking your gut and liver. Yeah, I'm about to act like a spoiled brat right now. All right. He says, drinking tea on an empty stomach. When are you supposed to drink tea? Come on. Oh, no. Let's see what he says. He says, do not have that cup of tea on an empty stomach, but make sure we eat something before or while we're enjoying our cup of tea. He says that drinking tea on an empty stomach will irritate the stomach lining due to its acidity and compounds like caffeine and other things. All right. He said this can later lead to acid reflux, nausea, and general discomfort. It can also cause dehydration because tea is a diuretic and may interfere with iron absorption, particularly for those with anemia. I am a diabetic who eats nothing in the morning, and if I do, I drink maybe a tonic smoothie type of thing. So I don't really eat anything in the morning, and I got to do some digging. So when I come back, God spares, from off my vacation, I'm going to do some digging as to what diabetics can eat, what's safe for us to eat in the morning, because the tea is really helpful to me. So I don't know, y'all. This means a lot. Sweetened teas. Wow. Now, let me tell y'all something. The can of sweet tea in my house is dangerous. It's dangerous. Do not let Shantice or Tamasia make you any of that canned iced tea. You are dead. The sugar content is through the roof. It's through the roof. So I'm just letting you know that part before we start. He says, consuming excessive amounts of iced teas or milk teas can elevate your sugar levels. Did I just take that? Those teas, because it seems like no matter what, it takes forever to get them sweet. Now, every once in a while, if you drink it like once a month, maybe, but woo, child, not no every day. And we don't. We're water drinkers in my house. Iced teas or milk teas can pack 30 to 40 grams of sugar. Okay. Now they say this definitely elevates the opportunity for her to or him to develop conditions such as non-alcoholic fatty liver disease or diabetes. Wow. All right, so sweetened teas make it a real rare occasion. All right, detox or slimming teas. So that would include like, what's the name of that tea? Ballerina tea, or those, what do you call those things? Like those weight loss teas. That's what I'm thinking they're talking about here. He said that detox teas or slimming teas may not deliver the benefits they promise in their advertisements. They say, well, they could work. He says that the slimming component in these teas typically consists of some form of laxative. Now, he says that consuming these teas as a laxative excessively can result in overall dehydration, electrolyte imbalance, as well as intestinal damage. All right, so he says that you don't want to continue to take these teas because that laxative can put some permanent or harm to your body. All right. Now they're talking about overdoing green tea extracts. They say green tea is superior and healthier than your standard black tea, but it's equally important to not go overboard. So they say if you dislike the flavor of green tea, then green tea supplements have emerged instead of just drinking regular green tea that have antioxidants and polyphenols without needing to drink it. So he says, do not rely on supplements opposed to the regular green tea because it risks liver toxicity. Okay? Woo. Now, we got sipping too hot tea, meaning your tea is way too hot. Now, yesterday morning, I don't know how you even get to this, because yesterday morning, for the first time in a while, I put my green tea in here because the tea was getting cold too fast in the regular mug. I went to sip, it burned my whole tongue. I don't even know how I could have even talked to y'all after that. My tongue was on fire. So I don't know what sipping too hot tea means because I couldn't even get it past my tongue. So he says that, we put our tea into the boiling, our tea bag into the boiling tea. We should wait until the water cools below 65 degrees Celsius, which I don't know what that is. Shanti's do the conversion for Fahrenheit. Celsius is like in the other countries. He explains that the regular consuming of tea hotter than the 65 degrees Celsius can increase the risk of esophageal cancer. Now, these cancers have been going straight through the roof, so we definitely want to pay attention to that. He says that there's a study that was done in China where they linked the combination and they weighed out people who drank tea really, really hot and those who didn't drink the tea really, really hot. And they say that a cancer started to begin in those who drank the tea that was way too hot. And it started in the esophagus, which is the pipe that connects the throat to the stomach. So please do not drink your tea too hot if and when you do drink tea. All righty. They say, or he's saying, do not consume your tea late at night, especially caffeinated tea. It says that, yes, the caffeine in tea is less than the caffeine in coffee, but it's still crucial that you do not present it to your body late night, because he's saying avoiding chai and green teas. So he's including even the green tea. He says that the caffeine lingers in your body and it will potentially disrupt your sleep, and it will hinder your body from repairing itself overnight. And that's vital to your liver and your gut. All right. And they're mentioning green tea because a lot of people don't realize that green tea does have caffeine in it. So you can buy decaffeinated green tea. Okay. He says, do not overindulge in boba or bubble teas. Now, this is something new. I started hearing about this bubble tea recently. I started seeing it in the stores recently. I didn't know much about it, but it's just kind of made its appearance on a heightened level recently. And he says that bubble tea enthusiasts are not realizing that these teas are high in sugar content and it has a lot of hidden calories. He says that the combination of starchy boba pearls made from tapioca can lead to an intake of hidden calories that people are not aware of. And again, hidden calories and high sugar content, he says, will result in insulin resistance and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So please do not drink the bubble teas and the boba teas at an overindulging content or level. All right. So I don't know. Like I said, this is big for me because I don't drink coffee, but I do drink tea early in the morning. So I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do. That's what I want to do. We gotta check it from our girl Tamika. Good morning, good morning. And hopefully we'll be able to chat with you in a little while. So let's start our news, because baby, I got some video that is off the hook. So let's see what we're talking about here. Let's go back and let's get this news. All righty. Again, here we go. So mom is now, from what I see, she's in jail She's in jail for on $50,000 cash only bond. And oh boy, she's in trouble. Why? Why? Y'all just take one guess. One guess. You got it. If you say she left her child home with her boyfriend, oh boy, yeah, she's in trouble. She's in trouble. But here's the thing. The only reason why I'm talking about this morning, because I'm tired of talking about these women doing this stupid thing. The only reason why I'm talking about this one is because this one is a little different. So we've got this 34-year-old mom, Zaquita Murphy. And she left her 3-year-old son at home. And she So she took the kids, the other children, to the school, but left the 3-year-old son home. She said when she came home, she found him unresponsive and not breathing. So she said she left the house a little bit after 6:30 to take the other kids. She was only gone for about 10 minutes. And she came back to find her son laying on his back and foaming from his mouth. So she said he had no other injuries or medical history since he was born that would even lead to that condition. So in other words, she didn't see where he was an epileptic or something like that. So now the problem comes in because as they pressure her, other things come out. So they say, first of all, when they got him to the hospital, they tried to resuscitate him and get him back on track for over an hour. But unfortunately, they weren't able to do that. So they had to end up pronouncing him dead. They said they noticed a large hemorrhage in his abdomen that would be there not from no accident. So they were trying to figure out from her what happened to this baby, because they said the type of damage that his stomach had incurred was brutal. That the same, plain and simple as that. So she says that when he woke up at about 5:45, he was acting normal and running around. She says she left him in the care of her boyfriend. So here we go. So she left him in the care of the boyfriend while she drove the other kids to the school bus. Now she said when she got home, he still was there, the boyfriend, but he was sleeping. And that's when she found her son unresponsive. So she said that this is it. She also claims that she has a girlfriend named Peaches who lives in the building or the apartment complex, and sometimes she would check on the kids while she was working at night, and that Peaches had been with them the previous evening and checked on them, and Peaches said that the kid was fine. But when they checked with Peaches, Peaches said, I wasn't with them kids last night. I was with my grandmother. So they do check grandma. They check footage from grandma's house. Grandma has some type of surveillance thing in her house, so they could see that Peaches was not in the house with the kids the night before, the way the mom is saying that she was. But after they pressed her more, she admits to leaving out of the house. She left the 5 kids home alone with some food, and she returned home briefly, but left again at 1:30 in the morning to go to some club called Kickbacks, where she was a bartender until 5:30. So from 1:30 in the morning to 5:30 in the morning, the kids were home alone with food. So then she admits that Peaches was not home with the kids, and said that when she went to drop the kids off that morning, that she left her boyfriend asleep on the couch, and left the baby asleep on the couch. And when she came home, the boyfriend was sleeping and the baby was in trouble physically. So they can't get no straight story from her. So they have not arrested the boyfriend because they do not believe that the boyfriend did anything, but they have arrested her. So this is why the only reason why I told the story today, because I'm sick of these stupid girls. I'm so tired of them. This stuff is just running rampant. They don't care about these kids. But my thing was just a twist and turn of the whole story. and the admittance that you left your 5 kids in the house. So he was with her when she left the kids in the house at 1:30 to 5:30. So while she tended bar, what is he doing? Sitting there watching her? Child. Oh, Lord help us. Lord help us. What else are we talking about today? All right. This is tragic. This is tragic. There's the story of a little one, a little toddler, 2 years old, who dies not at the hands of his parents, but at the hands of a doctor. And this is disturbing because, wait till I get to the end of this story. So there's a little boy, 2 years old, who's taken to the hospital in Florida. And I'm trying to see, he's been diagnosed with autism, and he wasn't feeling well somehow. And the doctor writes the prescription for him, and unfortunately the way he wrote the prescription is wrong. And it's funny that this should come up because yesterday that was part of my closing. You know, when the doctors write a prescription, we got to follow it to the T. So they say that he was okay. So when he got there, he had symptoms of a virus, and when they checked him, they said his potassium was dangerously low. So they gave him an IV with some electrolyte levels, you know, to help his electrolyte levels, and to get, you know, his body back under the right condition. So they say he weighed about 21 pounds. And I said it to you yesterday. I said, when they write prescriptions, all of this stuff is taken into account. That your weight, your height, everything. So they gave him an electrolyte replacement therapy. But the next day, when they went to give the baby the medicine that the doctor had written, they say that particular medicine, because the doctor left off the decimal point, Lord have mercy. This is how fine-tuned this is. So let's say, for argument's sake, he was supposed to get 0.8, right? He didn't get the 0.8, he got the 80. Because the decimal point was left off. But here's the biggest problem of it all. Well, let me tell you that in a minute. So at this point, he's like an adult, getting an adult level of this medicine. So he goes into cardiac arrest. So that's the first problem. So he's overdosed. He goes into cardiac arrest. The next thing that goes wrong is the fact that they are now trying to intubate him, put the tube down his throat. They said it took 10 to 20 minutes for him to get the intubation because they could not get it right. That's the next problem. Well, unfortunately, even though when they did get the intubation done, his heart actually came back. His brain and other organs had gone bad. So they left him on life support. And after 2 weeks, they decided to take him off life support. But here's where, to me, is the kicker. They said, I want to find the exact area. There's a flag. So when they're writing these prescriptions, remember yesterday, I said they got to put all of the information in. So they put the weight, they put the height, they put the age, they put all of this in. The machine signaled something was wrong. Yes. So let me go over this again. So in other words, you put the height, the weight, the age, the this, the that, and then you put in the dosage of the medicine. So you put the dosage and you put the medicine in, and it's the machine reads that it's equal, so that it's okay. But when they put it in, because the decimal point was missed, the machine indicated, they said with some type of beeping and some red light, that there was something wrong. And do you know they bypassed it? Yes, they ignored it. I was blown away yesterday last night when I read this. Blown away. Someone saw the machine going off, heard the beeping, and they ignored it. How could you be so negligent? So the negligence is running straight across the board. The doctor writes the wrong prescription. They give the baby the medicine, and his body responds by going into all types of trauma, including a massive heart attack. He needs to be intubated. They say it was 2-3 attempts that they messed up after they called Code Blue and decided to intubate him, that he needed intubation. And they took him 20 minutes. So because of that, his brain was deprived oxygen. Then come to find out that this all could have been prevented when they paid attention to the machine that is made to do what it did. That's the whole premise of putting this machine together. Oh, the hospital would be named Stephanie Griffin and Company. This is horrible. 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 Horrible, horrible, horrible. And last but not least, for this particular part of the story, we've got, I don't, this, you know what? Sometimes I ask the question, does the punishment fit the crime? Well, baby, this is enough. This is the punishment. If she was locked up for 1 million years, it could not deal with what she did. So two grandmas, 173, Julia Vega, and 69-year-old Elsa, went out and had some drinks. When they were driving back, somehow or another, Julia hits the accelerant, the gas pedal, and they hit a retainer pole that goes past a chain link fence, and they end up in the lake. So after they end up in the lake, they're able to get them out. So they pull both of them out. They say that Julia, the one who was driving, 73, got out of the car from her driver's side window. But Elsa wasn't able to get out as quickly, but they did get a rope and pull her to safety. But she then ended up passing away. So when they get Julia, together and all of that, she says, did my friend die? Because they've been friends for years. Did my friend die? They said at that time they could not tell her because she's like over here and they're over there, so they didn't know. Well, later on, they had to tell her that her friend did die after she didn't pass the sobriety test right there on the site. They say that her blood alcohol level was twice the legal limit. And not only that, but she also had Xanax in her system. So needless to say, she's going to jail. She's going to jail. At 73, you're going to jail for drunk driving. You're going to jail for being intoxicated with Xanax. But here's the kicker. Your friend dies. So even if you go to jail, that doesn't match. But here is the greatest kicker. Miss Julia and Miss Elsa have children who are married to one another. So one of them have the son and one of them have the daughter. They are married. So they are now not just friends, but they are family now. And now, on top of that, they have grandchildren together. So the daughter and the son have now got to deal with this of the two very close friends having this, accident that ends in death, but the grandchildren. So one granny, because she was driving drunk and under the influence of a narcotic, has killed the other granny. And I don't care how much time you get in jail, ain't nothing could compare to that. Nothing could compare to that. Oh boy, is my due time crew ready? Because I got to get to talking about this thing. So we got some comments going on up in here. Okay. We got Scorpion Yen. Good morning. To God be the glory. Amen. Thank you so much for joining us. We got Terrence who says multiple people losing their jobs. Yeah, absolutely. Miss Grace says, why didn't the nurse or the doctor or the pharmacist catch this? I used to work in the emergency room. I'm going to own that hospital. Absolutely, Miss Grace. Absolutely. All those people's hands that it went through, and nobody caught that the decimal point wasn't on the prescription. Anika says, yes, negligence. Teresa says, good morning. And yeah, Terrence, that old, and she's still getting high to the point of now she's intoxicated. Listen, think about this. 73 years old, you are double the limit, the legal limit, plus Xanax. What is your body handling? Your body can't handle that. Oh, where's our girl Tamika? Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Thursday to you.
Yes. Happy Thursday to you too. How are you?
I'm doing well.
That's good. I got a little distracted because I got a text from Pastor KL, who has an extremely high blood pressure. And he says they can't get it down for 2 days straight. So we're going to keep Pastor KL in prayer as we ask God to definitely deal with his body and get it regulated back to where it needs to be. So I got a little distracted a little while ago because I was trying to read at the same time as I was talking to everybody. All righty. So let's talk about the latter two, because the first story with the mom and the 5 kids and peaches and the boyfriend who was at home. And I'm not talking about that this morning, Tamika. I just gave the story because ridiculousness. Yo, you were snatched up for not doing the right thing. You left the kids at home alone so you could go 10 bar. Bye. So I will move on to the little one, the 2-year-old, where everybody in this hospital who had something to do with this little boy was negligent. So we've got the doctor who leaves the decimal point off of the prescription. We have all of the in-between people who never caught this. After he has the heart attack, they say 2 or 3 botched attempts at giving him the intubation rendered a 20-minute, you know what? Is he here showing off? You know what? He wants to be the Incredible Hulk today, Tamika. I just give this whole thing and he pops up in the room. So you got this, the intubation that's gone bad. So his body is deprived, his brain is deprived oxygen. And then you find out that the machine did its job and was blinking and beeping, and they overrode the indicator. What are we talking about here?
I'm just looking at this precious little face, you know, this little baby that went through so much, you know. And that's why, you know, a lot of times people don't realize, you know, especially like when you go to the doctor, the first thing that they do is ask you your date of birth to make sure that, you know, you are the right person that they're supposed to be administering this medication to. So you did that part, you know, and then the doctor with this little baby didn't put the point, you know, he missed the point, you know, and now because he missed the point, you know, the baby's going through trauma, 20 minutes trying to get this tube down this baby's throat, you know, and the, you know, all the time, this is a red flag for the doctor. Do not proceed, you know, for the doctors and nurses that were in the room. And, you know, what was it? You know, were you too busy? You know, take a second, you know, the signs that the thing is going off for a reason, you know, and now you're over medicating this baby. You basically killed this baby. You know, there's nothing else that you can say. This baby died because nobody looked at any of the signs, any of the warnings, you know, and now we have, you know, this mother has no baby, you know, and every day of my life, you know, I would make sure that, you know, my name is on this. Y'all owe me because I have no baby now. And it's because of every single person that played a role in this. You know, that's another reason why you got so many different people, not just the doctor. You got the anesthesiologist, you got all these other people in the room for a reason. Somebody has to catch it. And in this case, nobody caught it. And now we have that baby.
Right. Then all the checks and balances went straight out the window. All right, really quickly. Did my friend die? Oh boy.
What in the world? You know,
so it's crazy. I'm going to do a quick recap so that Brother Al and Pastor KL can hear if they did not hear already. So you've got two friends, 73 and 69 years old. They go out drinking, and on their way back, Julia, who's 73, she hits the gas pedal too hard, hits some kind of pole, goes through a chain link fence, and ends up in the water. Well, she gets out from her driver's side window, but her friend is not, you know, as lucky to get out. They finally get her out. They throw a rope out there. They get her, but she unfortunately passes away from the accident. So she asks, did my friend die? So initially they could not answer her. And unfortunately, yes, she did die. But the biggest travesty, after they find out that her blood alcohol level is twice the limit, after they find that she has Xanax in her system, they find out that the two women share a son and daughter who are married. And on top of that, they have grandchildren together. So now Granny has killed Granny. Mom has killed Mom. How does this family dynamic even move on?
That, just the whole dynamic. You know, you killed your best friend. You know, again, red flags that you weren't paying attention to. Why? Okay, how many years have we been hearing on commercials? Don't drink and drive. Friends don't let friends drink and drive. All of this, you know. And at this age, at those ages, I know for sure you've heard it, you know. And you're out there drinking and driving, end up in a lake, and yes, you killed not only your friend, you know. Now, how do you console the family when you're the perpetrator? So how do I go to my kids, you know, and now say, oh, it's going to be all right? You know, there's a whole lot of level of healing, because now I'm looking at you as my mother who killed my mother-in-law. You know, again, this thing, red flags are all over the place, and nobody's heeding the warning. You know, and it's sad again, because you're not heeding the warnings. The end result is death.
Yep. This is tragic. This is tragedy, tragedy, tragedy on so many different levels. Let's grab Pastor KL. Thank you for joining us this morning, Tamika. Let's grab Pastor KL. Let's see if he can stay this during, because he need to be like in a bed somewhere. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
We're well, thank you. We just got finished. I just got finished announcing that you wouldn't be on. We need to pray for you, and then you pop up.
Yeah, I'm on my way to the hospital as we speak.
Oh, well then go to the hospital. Don't worry about it.
Okay, I got it. No. You ask me the question. Ask me the question.
All right.
It might be my last question.
Oh. Oh, mother. Leave it to you. Leave it to you. All right. So we're talking about this baby who dies of this massive heart attack and brain damage because of the negligence of this hospital. What say you?
Well, as I lost a child, I gained a hospital. How about that? The hospital will be named after him. It would have to be. And I will sue everybody. You know, this is ridiculous. As you said, all the signs were shown, you know, and not one, not two, but quite a few people have dropped the ball. So this hospital should no longer be. And if it is, it should no longer be with those people that were involved, because obviously they had not been trained properly.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. All righty. Did my friend die is the question.
Yes, she died. She died. First of all, you know, this was a routine. They didn't just get drunk that one day and they had an accident.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't just pop Xanax today to try it out. You know what I mean? And then drive. You had Xanax before and you've driven and you were okay. Well, at least you thought you were. You know, so this was a thing that me and my sister girl, we do all the time. We get drunk, we pop pills, and you know, yes, it's hardening for the family. But listen, if the daughters will be honest, they know their mama was drunk. You know, they know this is what they did. This is what grandma did. You know, does it soothe the blow? No, it doesn't soothe the blow. But if you come into reality, this is what they did. You know, and unfortunately, you know, and folks, you know, apples don't fall far from the tree. So I don't know what the daughters are looking at next. This can be a wake-up call for the daughters. Yeah. You know, this could be, hey, we might need to leave this alone. You know, because the adults who were the adults couldn't handle it. And we still children.
Wow. Yeah, this is tragic. This is definitely tragedy at its highest. Thank you for joining us, Pastor KL. We're praying for you that you feel better.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for your persistence and your dedication. Couldn't do it without you. All right. I know Shartice has been on, but we're going to get to Brother Al right now and see what he's got to say. Scorpion is giving you some prayer signs, Pastor KL. Scorpion Yen. All right. Good morning, Brother Al.
Chop, chop of the morning. Chop, chop of the morning. Sending prayers up to my brother KL. You know, we praying for you, my brother, always, always. Good morning, Pastor Steph. How you doing?
I'm well, thank you. Happy belated birthday.
And thank you very much. Oh, yeah.
Happy belated birthday.
I appreciate it. You know, Pastor Steph, I heard you the other morning when I was on, called me one hand, Brother Al. I heard what you
I was going to call you that today.
I heard what you had said, okay? The thing is off my hand. Look, the thing is off my hand. It's a little swollen, but it's off my hand. I can move it, okay? You take it easy as you talk to me.
I was going to say good morning, one hand bandit, but I was like, no, Stephanie, say good morning. Just say good morning. And see, you had to bring it up. So, oh my goodness. All right, Brother Al, I got some video to show, so let's breeze through this thing. Okay. We've got the baby who dies at the hands of the hospital's negligence.
Oh, you know that make me mad. You know I love the kids, man. You know, these people gotta get it together, man. Now, this little innocent baby came to the hospital not feeling well, and y'all killed him. You know, it's oh my God, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, man. Somebody need to go to jail. Yeah, we definitely taking the hospital. You know, I'm taking the hospital and turning it into an old folks home. I don't want nobody here doing that. Y'all gotta go. You know, but people need to go to jail, man. That little innocent baby, you know, it drives me crazy because I love the kids, man, especially the baby.
Yeah.
Man.
All right, Terrence says, happy birthday, brother.
I appreciate it, Brother Terry. Appreciate
it. All right. Did my friend die?
This should take one death. All right. It's like Pastor Kell said, this ain't something new. They do this every Friday. They go in there and get the Xanax and go out. You know, this time, you know, they done went crazy. You know, she done went crazy, drinking and carrying on. And, you know, you're dirtying up the temple, so God ain't got his hands on you for anything. You're acceptable to anything. You know, and I'm just thinking about the family, man. You know, that, oh my gosh, man. That gonna be some serious prayer. I'm gonna pray for the family myself.
Yeah.
That's some serious stuff, man. For you sit there, it's like, man, grandma did this to my mother, you know, now then left the grandkid. Oh man, that's just a mess. The enemy got his hand all up in there, boy. You gotta pray.
Big time.
This is why we need Jesus.
Yep. You're talking about grandma in jail and grandma who's passed away. So now the kids ain't got no grandma. Because grandma going to jail.
Oh yeah, grandma going to jail. See, Big Bubba ain't gonna mess with her because she's too old, but she will be washing some underwear. She will be washing some underwear. She'll be a slave.
Oh my goodness. All right, let's get Shartice on here so I can show this video. Come on, Shartice. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
How are you?
Good morning.
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. All right, what are we talking about here? The tot who dies at everybody's hands at this hospital.
Nobody wants to do their job. What were y'all doing? Having a meeting? Checking each other's degrees? What were you doing? As it was said, the machinery and everything is in place to detect what the human eye wouldn't be able to detect or detect as quickly, and you're ignoring it. Yeah, everybody needs to get locked up. The lawsuit money needs to come from their retirement, and all of that needs to come from there. That's horrible. You can imagine what that baby was feeling physically.
Oh, I know.
Right, come on.
Yeah, that's terrible. Did my friend die?
Certain things in life needs an age limit. Like, why are you this drunk after 40? Like, come on. After a while, it's time to hang the alcohol up, hang the liquor up. And then on top of that, you popping pills. Or you can barely drink tea on an empty stomach, ma'am. You're a senior citizen now. What are you doing? And you think you can not only drink the pop pills, not only drink and pop pills, but get in the car and drive?
Yep.
They were probably taking selfies while they were doing it too. Listen, at a certain age, give up the fantasies. Give up what you used to do. Give up the bucket list. Give up. No, your life isn't over at 70, but a whole lot is over at 70. Just cut it out. Now, as it was stated, now the grandkids, the mom, the dad, they have nobody because y'all want to go out for a night on the town.
Yeah.
All right.
Tragedy. Scorpion Yen is saying, good morning, Shanties.
Good morning.
All right. Let's hit this video. Talk about a travesty. There's no sound?
No, there's a lot of profanity in this video. A lot of profanity.
They just have to excuse the profanity today. It is kind of useless without the sound bites. We can always delete it later. So stop the video for a second. All right. So everybody, I forgot about that part of the presentation today. There is profanity in this video. All right. So please, if you're squeamish, I'm sorry, but there's a point to be made here. And we're adults, we can handle it. And you'll see why I'm allowing this to go on for this video and for the video that's going to be played after this one. So please excuse the profanity. You could turn your thing down if I respect that. But there's a purpose why I'm playing this entire video. Okay.
Come on, boy. Shamar looking at. Shamar. Come here. What you want, Shamar? Foot. Shamar, foot. What you want, Shamar? Shamar looking at. Come on. Look at them ankles, boy. Shamar looking at. Giant. Julia. Hey, foot, don't touch my brother, foot.
Oh, hell no, those ankle asses.
Look at them bitches, bad crackhead. Other bitches, Lauren. Both of them. Oh my God, the little kids in them, not the big kids. The big kids not touching them. I'm saying the little kids. Smash that bitch on my brother. Damn! Crack! Damn! Hey, Phil, let my homie go. Let my motherfucking homie go. Beat his ass, yo! Damn, boy! Damn! They working ass! Damn! Oh my God!
Most horrific video I have seen to date. So let me give you a little backstory. There, out in Chicago, I believe it is, there's a group of children who are acting as like a mob, a bully mob. There's a mom going home from school with her 2 children. Mom has not had any interaction with these children. The children have not had any interaction with these children. And they have been known, I did a little research, they have been known to do this, to go and bully people in this gang format. And this is the most recent and the one that went viral. I'm going to stop talking here and I'm going to let you all talk. And I'm going to start with Pastor KL since we may lose him first.
Yeah, I heard and saw this, and I think this is ridiculous. You know, uncalled for. There was no meaning behind it. No one bothered you. You know, the children didn't bother you. The parents didn't say anything to you. You just did something because you felt that you can do it. You know, I think that everybody, and then, you know, I think that the person for me that was at worst was not the people that was beating her up, but the commentator, the one that thought it was okay to record all of it. So you didn't go get help. You was part of this. This was your job. Right, you know, you had the actors and the actresses on stage, and you were the filmmaker. You the one that says cut, roll, start. You know, that was your job. I think that you should get it worse than anybody that was in this. You promoted this thing. And then you thought that it was a Lifetime movie that you should share it with everybody. Not only was she beat, now you want to humiliate everyone by showing this. No, I think this is uncalled for, and all of them. They shouldn't go to children's detention. They should go to big girl jail. You want to be big girl? You should go to big girl jail. You know, Bubba might not be there, but Bertha will. Go see Bertha.
All righty. We got some comments going on in this chat room. Scorpion says, yes, we're all adults. Teresa says, disgusting. Kenny says, little devils. Teresa says, I heard the mom was pregnant and or had sickle cell. Tamika.
Yeah, this whole situation is deplorable. You know, what do you do as a parent when you're walking home? You know, you normally, you know, you hear children, you know, calling your child and, you know, or whatever, you know, the whole entire time. So you don't, you know, just like she was just, you know, taking care of her children. And then all of a sudden you look back and these children are coming after not just the child, but you. How do you as a parent, what is it that you do? You see, at one point she's trying to guard the child, you know, trying to do her very best to ensure that, you know, my baby is, they cornered this lady, then separated them. And I was looking at it too. I was like, is she pregnant? Because she did look like that, you know, and they got her, they beaten her, you know, they started off by talking about her ankles, you know, and then they separated them, you know, and then beat her so bad, her wig was off, and, you know, the child is rolling over on the concrete from the sidewalk to the street, you know, and it's just horrible, you know, like, what is it? You know, I was like, you know, Pastor KL, like this child that's videotaping, you know, how did you feel like, you know, you get away with that? And these youth now, everything goes by video, you know, and you don't realize that the video is what convicts you, all of you. Every child every person whose face was shown should get it and get it good. You know, they like they said, they're gonna be holding on to Big Bertha pocket. Everywhere that Big Bertha go, you holding on to her pocket. If she bend over, you got it. If she stand firm, you got it.
Okay. All right, Brother Al.
I'm still mad. I'm still mad. That made me mad for the day. You know, it's sad because but both my job was working with children, and the sad thing is that they really not going to do nothing to these kids. They're going to look at their age, they're going to write them up and stuff like that, and that is the problem. These kids go out and do things, and they need to be held accountable. And this is why they're doing these things, because they're not they're not held accountable. And then people look at me sometimes why I'm so rough with them at times, because I let them know, you come at me, it's not going to end well for you, little man. I had an incident with that in school. This kid, he going off carrying on. I just stood there. I said, you can carry on, bro. I said, but see, I want you to understand the law. I am able to protect myself. So once you put your hands on me, I am going to put you in the hospital. And I said no more. But I'm looking at that man, and that is so sad. And they not smart enough, because you're videoing. The guy, the little kid that was videoing, that's his job. That ain't the first time they did that. Every time something go down, he throw his phone on. And then when you run across the wrong person and you do something to them, then they looking at you. But I'm like, all of them should be locked up to be held accountable. And like, this is what happens when you do things like this. You can't just go around doing these things. Man, my heart went out. I went through so many different emotions. I went mad. My heart went out, and I said it 1,000 times. The enemy is using our children, and there it is right there on the video. That's why we got to pray for our kids. I pray for our kids all the time, not to pray for our kids. I'm still mad by it.
All right. Me too, Brother Al. Shantice.
These kids knew who to mess with. They knew exactly who to mess with. They would not have just said the next parent to walk down this block is going to get it. Because had it been a mother who looked like, if you even look at my child, I don't care if you're an infant or if you're hooked up to a ventilator, I will kill you. Literally, not just words. I will kill you. They would not have messed with that lady and her kids. They knew what they were doing. That's what makes me mad about situations like this. Because then you'll start copping a plea, and this is strategic. Y'all looked at her, and she looked like the timid type who would probably maybe give some kickback, but not really. You wouldn't even dare, when I was coming up, you wouldn't even dare talk to a kid when they're with their parent, let alone taunt and bully them while they're with their parent. Now it's gotten to the point where it's forget the kid, we coming for the parent. We're even being verbally aggressive with the parent. And it's to the point where you're now throwing blows to the parent. And see, this must be an area that they know well, because there was not one other adult walking past. Mm-hmm. Because had there been another adult, 9 times out of 10, it really would have been on. Because the adult would have just most likely would have either started breaking it up and or fighting them kids back on behalf of not just the children they were bullying, but the parent. One kid went to the son, and just body slams him out of nowhere. He's standing there watching his mother get jumped by kids who are already teasing him, and someone comes from behind him and body slams him on the cement, and the rest of the kids start jumping him. It just makes me want to just soak a belt in some salt water and just beat everybody out there. You could tell none of these kids get beat at home. None of these kids get reprimanded at home. None of these kids get put on punishment. Because if you're the type of child that knows what it is to just get smacked out of nowhere, if you would dare bully another kid, let alone do this to a parent, even if you were the one that was standing there laughing, because God forbid your parent popped up out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. But you know what it is to just be thinking something and your mother just backslaps you out of nowhere, like, Dad, how you hear my thoughts? You wouldn't even want to stand there and laugh.
Absolutely.
So this just goes to show how every single parent represented in that video is trash. Yeah. You being passive you're trash. That is just that's beyond disgusting. That's horrible.
All right, we got some comments. Crazy little demons, totally unacceptable. Anika, that's from Scorpion. Anika says, this is what happens when you spare the rod. These kids have no respect for adults. Back in the day, you wouldn't dare bother the kid in front of their parent. Scorpion says, just because you can don't mean you should. These kids have no training. And correct, that's wild. I got one thing to say. All you needed to do was snatch up that first one. Swung. You wouldn't have to worry about nobody else. All you had to do was snatch that first one. Boy, if I could have got my hands on that first one, that one who was so bold that you walked up and thought you could hit me, there would be some video going viral. It would. Because they would have his Pastor Steph demolish his child. I'm gonna tell y'all straight up. A pastor who did this? Pastor Steph did this one. That's what would be going wild. All you needed.
But Pastor Steph, just like Pastor KL said, the filmmaker egged the leader on.
That's what I'm saying.
To swing. He says, "Come so and so. Go ahead.
That's what I'm saying. All you had to do was snatch up that first one who thought she was so bold that you would throw a blow. Oh, it would be done. There would be some viral going on because they would be able to show all these videos where I was preaching, and they'd say, "Look at this lady right here. Is she really in the Lord?"
No. The headlines would have been, "Pastor Steph lays hands."
Yeah.
There's obviously
never.
She obviously didn't have any older children either, because there's no way she could have had like a teenage son or daughter and watched this, because it wouldn't have mattered that this was an elementary school.
No,
that older sibling would have taken care of all of that.
No,
the headlines would have been Pastor Steph, and under it said, "Thy rod comfort me."
I'm very serious. I'm very, you know, when I'm out in the street and sometimes I want to say something, I pull back because I said to myself, Lord, Stephanie, somebody see you out here, you on the broadcast preaching, and now you out here and they're going to catch you doing this. This would have been one time. It wouldn't have mattered. When I tell you it would, and I would have told, so my name is Pastor Stephanie Griffin. I would have said it all, because see, you go, no, this would never happen again. Because see, this is all because you can. This is all because you can. You, like you said, this was a prey. They didn't watch this one here. And I said she didn't have the right family, because that would have went viral. When that family would have been standing up at their door, at one of them kids' door, because let me tell you something, they know these kids. They know who these kids are. Nobody put nothing on their face. No, nothing. But I'm gonna hold.
That's how dumb they are. And you're right, Pastor. Yeah. I always tell that, and I always told Tamika that as well, because I learned that long time ago. Whenever if you, God forbid, you are getting jumped, you grab that one. Y'all might get some hits off. That one that I grab is going to the hospital with me.
That's right. We all going down. That's
right.
To the hospital. That's right. When they saw, when that video showed her going on the ground, it would have been me on top of the kid, because I would have been choking the life out of her. I am not playing. This is disgusting, abominable. The words can't even describe the rate. And I'm like you, Brother Alice. I was watching it today. The tears was just welling up in my eyes, because I'm saying to myself, I can't even imagine. They didn't catch the right parent. They didn't catch the right parent.
They knew.
Yeah, they've been the right parent. Even the way Scorpion says, "Yep," snatched the ringleader, and Miss Grace says, "Yep, you're right. I'm going to jail." Oh yeah, it would be on. Me and Big Bertha would have been giving dap to one another.
No.
Hey,
Bubba, here I come, Bubba.
I'm dead serious. But I got something even better for you all. Where's the next video? Where's the next video, Shanties?
All this Christian counseling.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely, Pastor Kale.
After a mother and child attacked on their way home from school. Casey Cronus is live outside of Orville Wright Elementary School with the very latest on the story.
I'm so
Casey,
sorry,
what can you tell
Shati.
us?
I'm so sorry. Can you play the next video? The next one. I'm sorry.
The whole city of Chicago looking for you, right? You and your little friends. Because you was grown yesterday. You were grown. And you was gonna jump somebody. So now they looking for you. You know that, right? You know I'm not helping you, right?
Yeah, because he done effed around and found out. So some of the parents of the kids involved in the fight that occurred with the mother, the 33-year-old Chicago mother who was attacked by a bunch of middle school kids. We saw where they punched her, kicked her, threw her to the ground, snatched her wig off. They pulled the hair of her little girl. A boy pulled the little girl's hair. They slammed her son to the ground. He hit his face on the concrete. And from what we're hearing, they literally had her phone, took her phone, went to somebody's house. I can't remember all the details, but they went to some man and asked him, did he want to buy a phone? Because they needed to buy a car. So the parents are letting the world know that, yes, this was my child. Yes, you know, we are dealing with the consequences, and some of the kids have apologized. Now, depending on who you ask, some people respect the accountability, and some people feel like the parents only stepped up because the video went viral and the pressure got too big to ignore.
Okay, so this is an update, y'all. I want y'all to meet Kamira. She is one of the children that was a part of the fight at OT Bright School on yesterday. We're just coming live so she can say her piece and take accountability. I won't say too much. And please, anyone that decides to say anything, keep it respectful. This is the child.
Hey, my name is Kamira Grant, and I was wrong for everything.
It's okay, Kamira.
For everything that I did, and I was just being a follower, following everybody who don't even got nothing that I got. And I apologize for everything because I wouldn't want to be in that situation. And I feel bad because
it's okay.
I gotta go through so much. But I wish I would never did what I did.
Do you have anything to say? I think her name is Shauna.
I was a bit people think somebody I'm not. I'm a different person than that.
I think everybody, we've all seen the video. Everybody's been sharing it. The public outcry is definitely there. And we're all on the same accord that it was, we want, I think more so than anything, we want everybody to understand that this is a child. All of them children that was in that video was children. Some of them, not all of them, may have families, but this baby here, she has a family that cares, that loves her, that has held her accountable. She understands what is going on, and I don't expect her to speak. We do not expect her to speak as we are going to speak because she's a child. What grade are you in, Kamira?
8th.
She's in 8th grade.
What grades do you get?
A's and B's, and I was homecoming queen. I'm the captain of the cheerleading team.
And you know that.
And I know I'm a better person than what I was yesterday. And I can make a difference.
And you will make a difference, right?
I will make a difference.
Okay. So whoever laughing, whatever that's about, I want y'all to know that this baby, as well as all the other babies that's in that video, are very much our future. So if we laughing at them, we laughing at ourselves. So we want to make sure that we check that and that we be present, and that those people that are not on the ground, those people that are scared of our young kids, that we get out here and we touch them, that we let them know that we hear, that we got something to say, that we care about them, that they have more resources than they know, and that we are available to them.
And know that it takes a village. It takes a village to raise all these kids. This is not just one person's fight. This all, and I want you to know, Kamira, this is not all on you. You taking your responsibility of the role that you played in this. And she know the role that she played in this. And I want y'all to know that this is not the kid that she is, nor will she let the internet turn her into a kid that y'all gonna try to say she is. So we are cooperating with investigation, or whatever needs to happen will happen.
And I think we had a pretty honest conversation today, right?
Yeah.
And you understand, like, it's okay to be smart. You're smart. You get A's and B's. You the captain of the cheerleading team. You was homecoming queen. You don't have to be bad just because you think it's cool. You don't have to do what other people do. Right? This don't define you. You are wrong. But this is not your end all be all. You can come back from this.
And you will come back from this.
You will come back from this. And everybody, like, give these parents and these kids, let's give the kids a little grace. Let's get to the bottom of this. This is an issue in our community. This is why the term a village, it takes a village. It's a lot for a parent. I'm not a parent, but it's a lot for a parent. Like, let's let these kids take accountability, but let's not dog these kids. These are kids.
And let's make sure that we explain to these kids why it's wrong. A lot of these kids are each other influences. And it's so easy to say, oh, they being raised wrong. No, sometimes kids are being raised right. This child, she being raised right. She's being raised correctly. Peer pressure is something. We all experienced it. Peer pressure is something. We all experienced it. So we're not going to try to somehow take.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the video right here. But some people just aren't buying it.
Shantice, you can stop. All right, thank you. So I played it at its entirety so you could see what's going on in the background. I'm going to start with you, Pastor KL, since we may lose you first.
Listen, this video just raised my pressure even more. I'm going into cardiac arrest. Because first of all, there were too many lies. Too many lies. Now you're trying to cover up just in case the cops say we had arrested you, that you were raised right. No, you wasn't. Let me tell you something. My parents put so much fear in me, Brother Al couldn't make me do nothing. He couldn't make me do nothing. Because if I had to face my mother and father, peer pressure, y'all don't know peer pressure. I was raised right? No, you couldn't have been raised right. Because you wouldn't even have thought of doing this. This is not something we do as our family. Right. I don't care how many queens and how many kings you were. You can't even articulate. You need to stay in school. That's what you need to do. Because that conversation you had, you could have been the queen of dumb. That's what you was, the queen of dum-dum. You know, I don't understand. And then you in the background talking about it take a village. You can't tell these children none these days. Not no village. And then you talking about I ain't got kids, but I don't. Then shut up. You ain't got no kids. You don't know about kids. You seen kids. You heard about kids, but you ain't got no kids. And I just want you to know that she came from the right house. No, she didn't. No, she didn't, because she ain't scared of you. No. If she was scared of you, she wouldn't have put her hands on nobody else. If you would have beat the crap out of her at 5 or 6 years old, but keep on opening up your refrigerator when you know ain't nothing gonna change. Listen, I got beat for opening up the refrigerator. Why do you keep opening up my refrigerator? The same thing that's in the refrigerator 5 minutes ago is the same thing in there now. I got beat for opening up the refrigerator. You don't know about being raised right. Man, listen, I gotta go. My heart is palpitating. I think I'm about to die. So y'all have a good day. God bless you and good night.
All right, Pastor KL, thank you for your contribution into today's conversation. We're going to pray for you, Pastor KL. All right. Come on, Lady Tamika.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait. All right. Okay. Now. When I tell you everybody up there had on a hoodie, I'm like, what is this? You know, like not one person wanted to be original, you know, and then I'm looking at this child. Oh, I feel so sorry for what I did. And I got good grades. And, you know, like everybody is trying to save face for this child, you know, and I'm wondering, because when I say to myself, I kept looking at the one who sucker punched. She had on these beigeish brown pants. I'm like,
that was her. That was her.
That's what I was saying. That's the one.
That's her.
That's the one that I want. Yes. I want to clip. You know, you get me. Oh. So now, you know, because, and that's what I kept saying. And the whole entire time, I'm imagining and I'm looking and I'm like, because she looked like she was grown, you know, and you gonna sucker punch somebody, you know, and then I got good grades and blah blah blah. That means nothing to me. And so you caught one out of many, and this is what you look. And I'm hearing more from these people, these women, than her. You know, like you didn't give me a heartfelt, I'm sorry. They caught you, and you trying to look like you crying. At one point, she even put her fingers over her mouth so that she didn't look like, you know, so she looked like she was. That was all fake, you know. And this is these women trying to, oh, well, she's a child. Well, she was that same child was the one that caused or assisted with all this calamity. Now all of a sudden you want me to look at her as though she was a child. Mm-hmm. She was one of the biggest out there. Oh, no. All y'all doing is trying to save face. You know, and the other thing I kept thinking, you is smart, you is kind, you's about to be a criminal.
You'd be a choked criminal, queen of the homecoming dance. Terrence says, Pastor Steph wants all the smoke. Kara says, they're not sorry. They tried not to laugh. Through the whole video, they just doing this because the whole Chi-Town is on their back. Absolutely. Terrence says, I don't know about her grades or if she's a captain, be a follower and get followers treatment. Kara says, your grades don't have nothing to do with what you did. Scorpion says, 1,000% in Jesus' name. Kenny said, no, peace. Something needs to be done. Anika says, what is going on here? I thought this was supposed to be an apology video. The adults here are the enablers of these kids. They need a whooping. Brother Al.
Hold on. So, you want to rap? Okay. I play with you. See, this is what I'm talking about. And she got good grades. What your grades got to do with your behavior? Okay? There's some people out here that's smart, that rob people, that's killing people. That got nothing to do with nothing. You come on there and, oh, please, these are children. Well, they wasn't children when they jumped this woman.
Yeah.
And if that woman is pregnant, what if she has an issue now with the baby? You know, and this is what I'm saying. This is when I go there to school when the parents come up. I don't want to hear your nonsense. Okay, she captain of the cheerleading team. She should no longer be captain no more.
Yeah,
like there has
right.
to be consequences. That was the biggest problem is there is no consequences. They should all be suspended from school and then let justice take its place. And if there is justice, you know. So now, what if this woman? Okay, she may not have no older children or nothing, but she got family. So what if her family see that and be like, okay, oh, it's on now. Oh, y'all want to jump my auntie? This is what we doing? Okay, we're going to see how this work out. Because people, again, don't say nothing when it's in your backyard. You know, first thing I would have said, what if the shoe was on the other foot? What if my child jumped you and then now what? I don't care that she's your child. Because if that was my child, I'd be like, bro, you get ready to face consequences and I'm all for it. Because you had no business doing that. I didn't raise you like that. I don't want to hear no peer pressure. Like my dad would always say, if he jump off the bridge, would you jump off too? Remember that? I'm the main one. If he jump off the bridge, will you jump off it too? No. Then shut up. Oh, my, see this thing right here? Oh, Lord said, be still. Well, this is my piece of steel.
Shantice, your head was looking the way my head was looking while that video was playing.
Pastor KL done went into cardiac arrest, and I feel like I had a brain aneurysm. Y'all would have did better not saying nothing. This was the dumbest group of adults. And again, I keep telling people, it's one thing when men sound and look stupid. When women sound and look stupid, it is just 1,000 times worse. Y'all would have did better not saying nothing. We can tell half of y'all didn't get no diploma. The mother, maybe. Them other two, especially the light-skinned one with the hood, she ain't like she even got her GED. But you don't have to be that. Shut up. Unless y'all made a video while she was getting beat and you told her, you better get on here and apologize, and she was crying so hard to the point where she couldn't even formulate words. Or unless you made a video of her going up to this woman and having to apologize and make amends, there shouldn't have been any video made. That was just the most useless. I felt like I just wasted about, how long was that video? About 20 minutes? 20 minutes of my life is gone that I can never retrieve. I could have done something productive. I could have been beating my niece, making sure she never do this within those 20 minutes. You knew exactly what you were doing. This was a plan. You were not coerced. No one had to talk you into this. Even with us hearing the filmmaker say, oh yeah, go ahead, do it. He didn't have to pull your leg.
Yeah.
He didn't have to pull your leg. You did this for clout. You want to be known as the one who beat this woman up. Oh, you would be known for beating somebody up. Every woman in that video needs to get beat up. Because just like, and one of the videos that came to mind that when Brother Al was speaking, earlier this year, you did a story about the father who got his brother and went to the house of the little girl that was bullying his daughter. And after he went to the father and said, this is what's going on, and the little girl kept bullying his daughter, he said, okay, and got his brother, and they went over to the house and beat the father down in front. And he said, I made sure I did it in front of his daughter. It was very imperative because that was a lesson. It wasn't enough that me and my brother just beat the father. We had to do it in front of I think they were like 8. Yeah. So they were younger than these set of kids. He said, I had to do it to let her know this is what happens to your father when you bully my daughter. See, this is bigger than you, little girl. Because, see, I could train my daughter in order for her to beat you up, but that ain't good enough. No, we need to send a bigger message. So, again, they got the right one. Because like it was said, the family, and you want to make a video, so thank you for letting me know what you look like. So now when I see you, And I know I got the right mother and the right aunties and cousins and whomever this is, and play cousins and whoever. Y'all want to defend her? All y'all getting beat because y'all are not chastising her at all, and y'all are not chastising her properly. She was sitting there grinning. She was laughing. I don't care nothing about what you could have built the school. I don't care. What does it matter to me that you're homecoming this and you're captain of the okay. That was even worse than the video of her hitting the lady. It was. That was worse.
All right, so we got Tamika says no real tears. Terrence says, and we all know them kids are snitching because no one wants to go to jail. Somebody's gonna get all the blame, and it was their idea. Okay.
I'm still mad.
Y'all have seen me correct Shantice at 40, right here on this broadcast. A grown woman, and wasn't it last week? And I was like, no, we can't do we can't do that. I wasn't smiling, I wasn't grinning. There was no nice tone in my like Shantice. No, in the name of the Lord. I was like, no, we that's not something we can do. I want y'all to imagine Stephanie as the mother of the one who not only was participating, but who was brazen enough to throw that blow on that woman. If you weren't standing in front of a precinct turning your child in, if you wasn't standing in the precinct with your hands behind your back because they didn't handcuff you from tearing her up, if there was no black and blue signs on you from when me and you struggled, you might as well have kept this garbage. This was a waste. It was pointless. It was more pointless for you to tell us that these are children.
Watch what you say, because these are kids. Shut
you
up.
Want us to be gentle, right, Al? You want us to be gentle in what we say when we watch the animalistic behavior that this girl and her friends exemplify. But we should watch what we say because they're children. We should remember that it takes a village to raise a child, to raise these children. But when she looked over at her and said, oh, this ain't on you. So my question is, well, who is it on? She took the blow. She hit that woman. So please tell me, who is this on? You looked at her and said, oh, this ain't on you. Well, who is it on? The mother who was walking, minding her business with her children? Is it on her? Oh, well, you better than this, right? I'm better than this. I'm doing this. And I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this video and I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. You have got to. It was, and I agree, it was worse for her to say anything than for her to have just been quiet. Go ahead, go talk to police or do whatever you're going to do. Because no, and I agree with Pastor Kale, she has not been raised right. I'm going to tell y'all a quick story. Remember back in the day, you almost there, Brother Al, you almost there.
He said pick one.
This is something that goes with what Pastor KL said. Back in the day, y'all remember when for those of you who are New Yorkers, when the jams had just started happening in the park with Grandmaster Flash and Melly Mel and African Bambaataa. So we used to call it was Hayfen Park. So we heard that the rap was going on. So me and my sister asked my parents, can we go? They said yes. So the two of us with three of our other friends went to the jam. It lasted a little longer than what we thought. So we were looking for a payphone. So we walked all over the place, looked for this payphone. We never found a payphone, but we stayed at the jam. So the jam was finished, and everybody's walking. Everybody's walking in the same direction. Through the crowd, I see two people. Through the crowd coming toward us, I see a woman walking, and I see a man dipping. That's the way my father walked. He walked with, they had that smooth walk back in the day. And as the crowd started getting a little thinner, he was walking with a golf club. That's why when you held up the crutch, Brother Al, I said, oh, you almost there. He was walking with a golf club with my mother walking next to him. They came to retrieve the two who did not come home when they thought we should have been home already. And it was just a dipping. I looked at my sister. I said, Terry, I said, do you see? I said, that's them. And she was like, oh, man. There was no running. There was no ducking. There was no dodging. We had to face.
Oh, yeah.
And when we got face to face, it was like, you lost your way home? You don't know where you live? Now we got friends standing there. The whole crowd is standing there. And it's them against us.
Pop was dipping to the beat.
Yes. He had that walk on with that golf club.
You're going to learn today.
They're right. And he didn't have to tell us that the golf club was for us. We walked in complete silence. Oh. All the way home. The fact of the matter was, you didn't do anything because you were too scared of what you would have to endure when you got home.
That's right.
Absolutely.
You knew back in the day that if you were a part of that mob, you didn't even have to be the one who threw the blow. You didn't have to be saying anything. But if you were standing with that mob and Miss Barbara walked past you,
yeah,
Miss Barbara would be like, Stephanie,
ma'am.
Yes, because I wouldn't want Miss Barbara to go home and tell my mother that she saw Stephanie anywhere near that crowd. If Miss Barbara didn't see me walking past like she was walking past, it would have been over for me, and I wouldn't have had to have done anything, and I mean anything. But that's the level of fear we had, not only for our parents, but for anyone else to even have seen us doing anything wrong. If we were riding on a bus and we were on the back of the bus and the bus was loud and you looked over and spotted somebody who knew you, you were no longer a part of the crowd anymore. And all you were doing was laughing and joking, and you weren't even doing, there's no fear here. There is no fear here at all.
None.
And you know, Pastor Steph, it's funny you said it, because I remember real quickly, where it was a lady sitting outside our project, and the lady always drinking. She mistakenly told my father that my sister walked by and stuck her middle finger up at her. But it wasn't my sister, it was somebody else. My father asked no questions. My father came in and said, oh, you want to stick your middle finger up? And my sister said, I didn't do it. By the time she said I didn't, he was already on her. Then come to find out.
They gotta beat you just in case.
Yeah. Then come to find out that it wasn't her. So my dad went to her and said, you know, I apologize, but you know how we do. So I owe you one. So you do something, you won't get a beating because I already got it.
That's how it was.
You know, and I said 1,000 times, from the way we was raised, that's why we suffer from that disease called respect.
Yep, you're right.
You got a disease called respect.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, Pastor, I work with these kids, man. I'm telling you, these parents too busy want to be their friends. They make excuses for these kids. There is no excuses. None.
Not at all. Not
You
at
know,
all.
he
Not
did this or she did that. And you
No.
know, and these kids are not held accountable. My basketball team was held accountable. I had a parent go all the way to the principal because I told her son couldn't play. This woman ignored me. She went to the principal. They had a giant meeting. I'm at a basketball guy coming in. You got the principal, the assistant principal, the parent coordinator, the district. I'm like, y'all serious? And when I walked in there, I said, the first thing I said out of my mouth, I said, well, you know what? I said, it saddened me that we in here at a meeting about basketball where we should be having a meeting about his behavior.
Right.
Pastor, I already had my resignation letter written. So once they would say, oh, well, he got to play, I was like, hey, go your letter, get you another coach. Because I stand by what I believe in.
Right.
You know, these kids are crazy, man. No respect for adults. You should see them in the street. They quick to cuss you out and say this stuff back to them. I sit there and I look at them. I say, all you got to do is touch me. I'm a grown man. I can't touch you. But just recognize once you touch me.
Yep.
Oh, hell go break up.
That's right. That's right. That's why I said I wouldn't have had a problem of me going viral, strangling her. Because see, you would have had on video that she hit me. So only thing I'm gonna tell you, I'm a disabled woman and I was defending myself. My arthritis would have been right around her neck. Plain and simple as that. Right around her neck.
How Fred do it?
Yes. Right around her neck.
It fit perfect.
Yes. Because this was inexcusable. I can't imagine this set of adults. You were homecoming queen. When I tell you, you would have been standing in a box. Boy, I hope you got some great memory.
You would have had to fight every single person you walk past for the next 4 years. You better pray that when I tell you to walk down a block, don't know the same way no other adult walk past there. You better pray no matter what block I tell you to walk down, there isn't an adult. And mess with me, I'll have you walking through the projects. I'll have you working through all the rugged areas. You
and everything.
Yep, you would have to fight and you better hope 3 adults don't walk past you at the same time because you gotta fight all of them. And I ain't gonna tell them it gotta be fair. And it may not be one by one. But since you wanna buck up at an adult, oh my goodness, they would probably take custody. You would have to fight every single adult and I would dare anybody in my family. This is why that video was so disturbing to me. I would dare anybody in my family to challenge me. Shantice, that's extreme. Shut up. It was extreme. How do you think that woman felt standing there already? How do you think she felt already knowing that somebody is bullying her child, even if it was his peers? Now you taunting me. Now you bucking up at me. How do you think that even if she was able to knock every kid out, how do you think that woman felt? No, you walking down every block and every single adult you pass, you're going to have to fight for 4 years. So you get A's and B's, well then you shouldn't get left back. You better not get left back because you're going to have to repeat a year fighting. So good with grades. Wonderful. Next 4 years, you're going to have to fight. Since you like to fight, you gonna fight.
And you know, I did like that. I did like that first parent that was really short. She looked at her son. She said, "You did this." She said, "You know they coming for you, right? And I'm not helping you. Yep. They coming for you, and I'm not helping you." I said, "See, that's what I'm talking about."
You know, I lost my thought. Stop, brother Al.
I'm sorry.
Shantice said something.
Oh. What? I wish my family would challenge me.
No.
Because I want to have a kid just so, God forbid, they did something with this. I could do that. I'm so serious.
Say what you said last. I wanted to go. I said I was going to say I know we're late, but it was something that I wanted to touch on with the crew, and I don't. Okay. Don't disturb my thought.
Hey, I didn't know you
forgot what I was going to say.
I didn't know you was going to talk. My bad.
I don't remember. I said I wish they would challenge because how do you think that woman felt even if she was able to knock every child out? She's already watching them taunt her child, and now they're coming for her.
And she said how she felt if they was bullying, you know, even though they were beating other kids, you know, how you think she was feeling that her child was being bullied?
I lost it. All right, due time crew. Bye. I wanted to get to something that was like crucial, and I was like, it would be good for the due time.
We're gonna ask the Holy Spirit to bring it back to your remembrance. Amen.
I'm like, I was gonna say, I know it's late, but it's okay. It's my show, so if somebody's hanging on, we could go as long as we want to. But I wanted to talk about this. This was submitted by, as Vivian says, a loyal viewer. So I want to say thank you. If y'all see these videos, please make sure somebody else send me a video. It's a 9-part series of jail life in Gwinnett County, Georgia. And we just got finished for the last 2 weeks talking about the prison system. And ooh boy, this here, God spares, when we come back, we'll talk. I'll just have to, hopefully if I think about it later, I'll just take it to the men tomorrow, God spares. But thank you so much for your contribution into today's conversation. We pray you have a blessed day.
Have a blessed day.
Thank you.
That's the wrong hand, Brother Al. You can't wave that with the broken hand. Now they're going to think that this is a false claim. How disturbing. You know, the other day I gave a series of scripture that talked about spare the rod, spoil the child. Children don't provoke, parents don't provoke your children. You know, train up a child in the way he should go. And boy, have we seen the system fail. We have seen failure at its highest degree. One, we have children who are so disrespectful that they did not even respect the fact that this was an adult. It's one thing to bully a child, but we have gotten to the point where we as a mob will bully adults. That we as individuals would be a part of a mob that would not only bully adults, try to put fear in adults, but you actually walked up to an adult and you hit her. For Stephanie, there is no coming back for that one. No coming back from that. None. You will not find me up here with you on a video talking about your accolades. I could care less at this point. And can I tell you something? When you would meet the detention center, they don't care. When you meet the jail system, they don't care nothing about your accolades. They don't care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you graduated valedictorian. It doesn't matter if you got all kinds of awards and all kinds of things. Put your phone on mute, please. Put your screen on mute, please.
Please hold during a brief pause.
We have no concern when you go to jail or these detention centers about what you've done before you got here. You know, when your lawyer stands up in front of the judge and the judge says, well, you know, Your Honor, she was the captain of her cheerleading squad and she was, you know, the queen of the homecoming and, you know, she got A's and B's. Would it matter if one of the three of those people you attacked, so they pulled the little girl's hair, they body slammed the little boy and pulled the woman down and punched the woman and kicked them kids and kicked the woman and all that. Had someone died because their head hit the concrete, head hit the curb, if this woman is pregnant, she suffered a miscarriage, that's a life. That's a life. What would it have meant that you had great grades? What would it have meant if you were homecoming queen? What would it have meant if you were the captain of the cheerleading squad? You know, some people may think this is a bit extreme, and some of you may think it's their children. This is a set of children that must be dealt with drastically. Because if we don't deal with them drastically now, the prison system will. The prison system will. This video will stick with me for a very long time. It was extremely disturbing. It was upsetting. It was disappointing to watch these parents talk to me and say to me as a viewer, well, we need you to be gentle. We need you to watch what you say. You know, for those of you who are laughing, why are we concerned about the treatment of what happens verbally? Why are we concerned? When I am on here because my child physically attacked not just a woman, but a woman and her children. They literally stomped these people. What kind of child needs to be pacified and dealt with gently after you exist this level of, you exemplify this level of behavior? Who? Why should I care? Why should I care? You never hear me on this broadcast say what I would do physically. Never. But when it came to this, that woman would have been defending herself. And I'm going to tell you something. At this point, you didn't know whether any of them had any weapons because they've been known to carry weapons. Well, guess what? Their weapon was their mouth. Their weapon was the fear that they exemplified and put into these people. I watched this woman back up into a fence. I said to Shanti, I would have had a bottle of anything I found on that ground, or somebody's garbage can. Somebody would have been hurt out there, and it wouldn't have been Stephanie. I'm sorry. It wouldn't have, in order to protect me and mine. Yeah. Because this here shows us what we're graduating to. This here shows us what happens when we don't want God and we don't give our children to God. This here. Because these parents have no God. No, you don't. You don't. Because there's nowhere in the world God is happy with this. You standing there telling people how this is a child. Spare the rod. Spoil the child. Train up a child in the way he should go. Now, you know, I had a parent years ago. She had to go to the school for her child, and she said that she didn't discipline or reprimand the child. She didn't reprimand the child in front of the teacher. She said whatever she had to say to the child when she got home because she didn't want the teacher to see her reprimand the kid. That's because in secret, you didn't reprimand the kid either. Because when I got there and the parent was telling me about the child was walking around playing with the doll and looking at TV, and I'm saying, well, based on what you said, you just went to the school for, how are there any luxuries around here? How are there any luxuries when you got home? So you want me to believe that you reprimanded this child because she was in front of this kind of teacher and I didn't want her to be embarrassed? No. You would have been embarrassed. Because see, when you go out and you misbehave and I've taught you better, you're embarrassing me. You know, I'm 59 years old in a couple of days. God spare my life. And there's one thing my father always said to me. He said, be careful of what you do when you go out because you never know who's watching you. Be careful of what you do when you go out because you never know who sees you. Never know who's watching, never know who sees you. And that's something he's always told me as a kid. And at 59, I am remembering those very words. This is indication. This is indication that people are watching. And now that we are on everybody's camera and video, everybody's watching. So now you think that you getting on this video is helping your child? She couldn't even muster up the tears well enough because that's how unmoved she was. By the time one of mine got on there, you wouldn't have been able to talk. It would have been pointless for me to even put a camera in your face because you wouldn't have been able to talk. Not because I would have bruised you up, But because of the lashing, even verbally, you would have gotten, because of how I would have shown you how embarrassing your behavior was, how deplorable and despicable your behavior was. And by the time I got finished telling you what you would not be doing going forward, or you would never have to worry about, you better remember that, what that crown felt like. Because you'd have a crown, all right. A crown of school books and church. That's it. That would be your life. How long you going to make them pay, Stephanie? They're just kids. Until I deemed you were respectful enough to move forward in life. You're what did it say? She's in the 8th grade. What's she going to be like later? And in the 8th grade, this is where you are. What are you going to be like later? And I go back to saying in my closing, this is what happens when we don't think our children need God and we don't think we need God. We don't feel like we need to go to church because we got better things to do. We don't feel like we need to go to church because God is doing this in my life and he's in my heart and I can watch God on TV. All of this, God has promised us in his word. This is where we would get to. Where we would be lovers of ourselves. Where there would be malice and hatred. All of this conceit. All of this stuff is already in the word of God. And it is playing out nicely. Playing out nicely. We don't think our children need God. Our children need God. And I'm not talking about sitting in your house. I'm not talking about sitting in a soccer field on a Saturday or even a Sunday. Just church, period. I'm not talking about you at ballerina school when they need to be in church. I'm not talking about while you're sitting home looking at cartoons. I'm not talking about you just handing them a Bible story, because it's deeper than that. I am looking at a group of, just when I say a group, I'm not even talking about my congregation. I'm talking about this world. I'm looking at a group of people who could care less because they think that being on the outside of the church is going to be equivalent as being on the inside of the church. There is something to the word of God when he says, make sure you do not forsake the assembly with like-minded people, not perfect people. Oh, this church hurt garbage. Get rid of that. Forget it. Forget it. Because you're still going to work with the people who've hurt your feelings. You're still in relationships with the people who hurt your feelings. So you can endure it. Just find another church. Find a church that's loving. Find a church that's Bible believing. Find a church where you have a leader that cares. A leader that pays attention. I'm sorry, a 40,000 seater cathedral is not your leader paying attention to you. If these people cannot talk to you one-to-one and impart something in your life, then the care that you need is not there. But you know what I find? I find that people are running from that because they don't want people to kind of call out what they're doing. I have had people walk away because they don't want to hear what I have to say. No, it's very easy to walk off because let me help you understand something. And I want you to pay attention to what I'm saying. Every single person who has walked away have been people who have been loose cannons. They have done what they want to do, and they don't want to be under any discipline. Every single one of them. Every single individual, when I survey their young life, that's what's happened. A parent has failed them, or parents have failed them, so they've been doing what they want to do, and now when it comes to discipline, they don't want it. They don't want it. So now it's flight time. And can I tell you something? I'm okay with that because it's your life. It's not my life. It's your life. But I'm watching senior citizens who have run and they have ended up nowhere. So keep on running. If you're one of those people who don't like discipline, keep running. Keep running. Because you will never be about anything that God wants you to be about. I don't care how much God is in your heart. This is the word of God I'm telling you. This ain't Stephanie. Stephanie does not tell you her opinion until it's my opinion. And I'll let you know it's my opinion. I'll always let you know before or after my statement that it's my opinion. How often do you hear me say that? How often do you hear me say that? I'm watching the deterioration of our children because their parents don't want discipline. And this is what people are not paying attention to. Whatever you have carved out for yourself is what you ultimately carve out for your children. I had a mother ask me after attending church with me, and I would always say to them, listen, you don't have to learn from your mistakes. There's nothing biblical about that. God gives you examples. That's biblical. So that you don't have to walk and step in those holes. He's trying to prevent you. He knows you're going to go through whatever you're going to go through, but he's trying to prevent you from going through as much as you will if you move on your own. So you need to just do what God says so that you don't make these mistakes. And her question to me was, I know you don't like for me, and you always preach to us for us not to make mistakes. But why don't you just let us fall? This is what she said. Why don't you just let us fall in the hole and let us learn from our mistakes, and then we'll just move on from there. And I looked at her and I said, first of all, when I say to you, you don't have to learn from your own mistakes, that's not Stephanie. I said, didn't I give you scripture? She said, yeah. I said, then it's not me talking. I said, it's God talking. I said, but I will say this to you to answer your question. How come God does not want you, because that's where it came from, how come God does not want you to fall and make your own mistakes and just simply learn from them? I said, you are a mother with a child. Every mistake you make, that child has to eat. So we have done story after story after story after story, even down to today, of the mothers who have chosen these men over their children. And what has happened time after time after time, the children have had to pay a bad experience, even unto death, because you wanted to make your own decisions. You wanted to fall into the hole because you feel you will recover. I said, there's nothing that will ever say you will not recover. But what will you recover from? What will your child have to eat because you wanted to walk out here and do it your way? That's what God is trying to prevent. If you want to be the dodo and you want to go out here and do what you want to do, if you're a single person, by all means, that's between you and God. Ain't nobody else got it. And people will suffer behind your mistakes. But hopefully it'll be adults who can make their own decisions and who can do, what they need to do to come about that hole. But when you talk about an innocent child, and every time you reject God, you are putting that child in the line of danger. When you reject God, this mob mentality, this follower, when she got up this, I'm not a follower. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Not only are you a follower, but you're a leader, and you're leading nastily. You're not telling people, listen, hey, stop, leave these people alone. You was the one who threw the blow. You're the leader. You're worse than the follower. You're worse than the follower in this instance, because you made the first blow. You put all that energy into everyone else to help do what you did. This is what we're breeding when we don't give our children discipline. When you don't want discipline, this is what you give your children, a lack of discipline, because when you are not disciplined, you cannot discipline your child. So that's what we saw in those three adults, because not one of those people held that girl accountable. When you act as horrendous as this, I'm not here to remind you that you're a child. The only child is that you're a child of God. And God is extremely disappointed with your behavior. I am not here to remind other people after watching what you did. You think you're able to go tell that mother who was literally attacked and her children were attacked that she would sit and watch a video. Because see, when you're in it, that's one thing. But when you step back and you watch that video as the person who was being attacked, you now as another mother gonna go tell this mother, well, I'm so sorry, but I want you to remember that she's a child. Who was the child that had me dragging on the ground? Who's the child that punched me in my face when I didn't do anything to her? Who's the child who punched me in my face when I didn't even say anything to any of you? Because see, that's a rare parent. Y'all better go ahead. Y'all better go ahead. Somebody would have said something. This woman said nothing. So now you're going to stand and tell her what? That your child is a who? Your child is a what? These come from undisciplined parents. This is who you want people to believe are raising decent people. You can't raise anyone decent when you don't allow God to raise you decently. We are born in sin and shaped in iniquity. We are born sinful and immoral. That's what that says. We have no scruples. It's not until someone imparts into us what's right. And even for those who are decent, nice people. I remember my grandmother used to always say, it's going to be a whole lot of nice people in hell. Because see, that's all you ever hear. Oh, they're so nice. They're such a nice person, but they have no God. Well, my Bible tells me that unless you are born again, you will not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Now, will there be exceptions to that rule? Yeah. But we don't know who that exception will be. We don't know why that exception will be made, because God is the only righteous judge. So we can't say that if we act immorally, we're definitely going to be here, because I can't say that. But what I can say is I don't want to throw the dice. Oh, well, if you don't accept God, you tell me, well, all these people going to hell. My grandmother used to always say a whole lot of nice people going to go to hell, because God has said what he has said. And if he deems to make an exception, he will deem to make an exception. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm not playing Russian roulette on this one. If God said this is what you have to do, I'm going to do it. And I am imparting into my granddaughter everything that God wants me to impart into my granddaughter, because she's the child that I have out here now. And I'm not even her mother. But whatever I can pump into her and any child that I come across. Because see, you can't tell people, this is God and, this is Jesus, but yet they don't go and they get no formal teaching. No more than you can just sit and tell a child that 1 + 1 = 2, but you don't send them to school. And that's the interesting part to me. We'll send them to school. We'll insist that they go to school. And I'm so tired of people telling me, well, I'm going to let them make a decision that they want to make, because, I said, well, they can't get up Monday through Friday and make the decision that they want to make. You mandate that they go to school. So why are they not mandated to seek Jesus? Well, you know why? Because that's not what they want. They don't want that for themselves. And long gone the day where you didn't want that for yourself, but you made sure yours went. That's the way it used to be back in the day. It didn't matter whether you felt the need, but you wanted to make sure that they got the foundation that you got. Now, what they end up doing later on in life, so be it. But these days and times, we are holding our children hostage against God. And what do you think God is thinking about this thing? Especially for those who are saying, well, God is this and God is that. Well, God is what? And you won't hand your children to God? You think your children are under the protection of you when you are godless? Yeah, I don't care. I don't care, because I'm looking at the word of God. Here's what I will repeat, and I said it a few weeks ago. You cannot tell me, because I just got finished reading it, but here's the funny part. Before I read it, I said it, and then I read it like a week later. God in his word says, you cannot reach here if you have not and can't take care of here. So here's what he says. I can't give you college work if I don't see you doing kindergarten work. So you don't know your colors from kindergarten, but you can do algebra. That makes sense to you? Because the word of God has already deemed it not true. Not true. And I was blown away when I was studying and I read it. And I said, well, thank you, God, for me now being able for that to be school. It didn't even make sense to me. It did make sense that you could do all of these great things in the Lord, but yet you can't do the basics in the Lord. It made no sense to me that you are so high and mighty and religious, but yet you don't do the base things that the Word of God tells you to do. So how do you think you're pleasing God when He's asking you and expecting you and laying out for you to do this, but you can't do this, but you can do all of the high things? Oh, I can run the race and I can win the race. It's almost like those who go to run the marathon, but they never train. That's what the Word of God says. It says it got nothing to do with Stephanie. It made no sense to me. I'm like, God, I don't understand. How do we got all these people who are just like all this greatness in you, but yet they don't do the basic stuff. They don't do the basic stuff. They don't want to be under any direction. They don't want to be under any guidance. They don't want to go to church. They have just completely forsaken the assembly of you, which is something that you have said. So for all of you who say, oh, we don't have to go to church, God is in my heart, I'm sorry, the Word of God does not say that. The Word of God does not say as long as I exist in your heart, you don't have to go. And I don't see that anywhere. What I do see is forsake not the assembly. And there's no contingency on that. So I'm trying to figure out, how do you think you're going to last in the business world, and you the CEO and you didn't run this whole big company, but you don't do the basics that God has asked you to do? But you keep telling people, oh, if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be able to run this company. I wouldn't be able to make these 6 figures. But yet you're not acknowledging God even on the lower level. God says that you're either for me or you're against me. And you can't be hot or cold, because I will spit you out. So I don't care how great your world is. I don't care how great your money may be. I don't care how spectacular your experiences are. But the Lord has already deemed you. Again, study your word. And this is what we are going through with our children. That's why you're hearing this today. Because what we just got finished seeing, it may not be coming through like that for you, but you better believe if you survey your life, it's coming through. It's coming through big time. There's something that's going on that's equivalent to dysfunction. Like I said to you all the time, you see that same one you hear preaching on here, and I get to her. And I've corrected her right here on this broadcast. No, we can't do that. That's not equivalent to what God wants. No, we can't. I have 3 girls. And when it's time to redirect, they get redirected. I have no fear. I have no fear. Because not only am I a pastor and I have to be concerned about their soul, they're my children and I don't want to see them go to hell. But I can't, let me help you with something. I cannot love my children as a mother more than I love them as a pastor. Because as a pastor, I don't care who you are. My goal is to give you the word of God so that you make it in. My children, I might pacify. Oh, I don't want to see her hurt and I don't want to see her struggle. So I'm not going to say anything. Nah. I told the 3 of them, and I said, the best thing God could have ever done for you was to give you not just a passionate mother, as you've always known me to be, but to give you a passionate mother in the Lord. Not that I'm perfect, because I ain't never been perfect. We are never going to be perfect mothers and fathers. But you can't beat me up for striving. And I'm watching these women, because I'm going to tell you something. I could tell ain't no man involved. Where's your father? Where's your father? Because he should have been a part of that video. If there's a dad in the picture, dad should have been a part of that video. So let's make sure, moms and dads, that we seek God. Because in our seeking God, it will spill over into our children. When we refuse God, we refuse God for our children as well. Make no mistake about it. And this is what you are up against. Because here's the scary part as I close. Mom did say something that was very, very, very true. She said, you may think that they don't come from good households. I have seen with my own eyes those of us who have been raised by disciplining parents and family, but still there's one that wants nothing but just gonna. And we ask all the time, why? You had what we had. Well, what is the problem? Why must you do that? Why must you be with these people? Because again, we are still free agents, even from little. We still do what we want to do. We still have the desires and the cravings, and we still have our flesh and spirit. Don't think that your flesh and spirit does not operate even as a young person, because we're looking at it right now. So mom is right. I've seen parents bust their behinds, and they kids still doing what they want to do contrary to what they're being taught. Well, that's one of the reasons why we need God. Because we need that extra reinforcement. We need to push to make sure. Do you send your child out in 20 degrees with a sweater only? Nope. We tell them, put that sweater on, put that coat on. Not only the coat is good enough, we make sure it zip up. Not only zip up, but zip it up to your neck. Make sure you put your scarf on. Make sure you keep your head covered. Make sure you have your gloves on. Make sure you put your boots on. We layer our children up externally, but what are we doing with them on the inside? That's the way we'll close today. Are you only layering your child externally? Are you layering them internally? Because the outside being layered has nothing to do with the inside. And that's exactly what we just got finished seeing. Just because she was the prom queen of the homecoming, or the homecoming queen, just because she gets A's and B's, just because she's the captain of cheerleader, that had nothing to do with her behavior. So we want to layer our children from the inside so that they can be a blessing and that they can be blessed. You're watching It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. Join us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. where we discuss matters of the heart, mind, and spirit. As you go through your day, be sure to set your mind on things that are above, not on things that are on the earth. They will only serve as a distraction. Remember, prayer changes things. It's Pastor Steph signing off, and I want to thank my Due Time crew for always coming through big time. Thank you for just racking up those comments in the chat room. Please do not miss this opportunity to give Christ your life right now. Please do not miss this opportunity to strengthen that relationship with the Lord right now, because later is not promised to any of us. Again, I will announce there will be no It's Due Time with Pastor Steph next week, Monday through Friday, but God spares. The following week, we will be back. Please do not hesitate to just go back. Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple iTunes, Apple Podcasts. Please make sure you load up on over 1,400 24 hours a day, 7 days a week episodes that you can go reach for so you can get the word of God. They're all labeled. All of them have titles, so you'll know what you're getting, and you ultimately don't know what you're getting when you open up that episode. So I welcome you to please browse our catalog. You will be blessed. Until tomorrow, God spares, where it's Freestyle Friday. Until then, I love you.